Most Japanese green tea tastes very similar. Look at the leaves. Dark green, needle-shaped, a little bit glossy, and the taste umami, seaweed, and little bitterness. Well, today I want to challenge this stereotype and show you how diverse Japanese green tea can be. This is Nannuoshan. I'm Gabriele. It comes with no surprise that sencha tastes more or less the same no matter what sencha it is. First of all, look at the appearance. They are extremely similar, needle-shaped, glossy with this very dark green color. And it's not only about the appearance, also the cultivar is common to most sencha. Yabukita make up for about 70% of all tea gardens in Japan and was chosen and widespread so much for a very good reason. It is a robust plant, very seldom get diseases, it has a good taste, let's be honest, and also it is frost resistant because Japan in winter can get cold also in the south. Moreover, we have an additional point. There is in Japan a fairly high standardization in the production. What do I mean? I mean that not only the leaves are produced in the same way, they also use the same machine for picking, they do the same type of steaming machine for the steaming, for fixing, for the mechanical step for rolling them and giving them these needle-shaped leaves. All is very standardized. And also fertilizers and pesticides are fairly standardized. Nitrogen fertilizer are the most widespread. And what they bring is they enhance the amino acid content of the leaves, bringing out that umami taste that we so much associate with Japanese sencha. All right. I don't want now to say that it's all about fertilizer giving the taste, but let's be honest, we shouldn't neglect that fertilizer are what the plant is taking the nutrients from the soil, and of course that will influence the taste. That's just how it is. Fortunately, there are also differences, and this is something that I am been striving to and discovering more and more because I have been visited in the past way more China, and in China there is a wide variety of cultivars, but also of processing, of terroirs, and so on. So every different green tea is indeed different, and I thought there must be diversity also in Japan. So now, without further ado, let's brew these teas. I have already put inside here 3 grams of leaves each, and you see that I'm using Gai ones, which are actually Chinese brewing vessels. It is still to be found every now and then in Japan as well, but the very reason why I'm using it is because this tea taster set is very neutral. First of all is candied white, it is porcelain, so it doesn't affect the taste of the tea, and everything is the same left and right, and I can really concentrate only about the differences. I actually don't have so many Gai one at home that are identical to each other, and here I can really make a symmetric set if you wish. One of the difference between, and the main difference actually between these two teas that I have in front of me is the cultivar, but I tell you, when you go through different cultivar in Japan, that doesn't mean that you necessarily find a very different taste profile. Because I mentioned also the fertilizer having an impact and the way that everything is processed. Now, these two teas come from an organic garden that haven't been used, on which they haven't been used fertilizers and pesticides for more than 40 years, actually since this farmer started producing tea on these gardens. So here we have that aspect, that influence completely removed. We are really tasting the leaves and not the soil or the fertilizer. Moreover, it is the same location, it's the same mountain, it's deep in the mountain of the Shizuoka prefecture, so also the terroir is similar, the climate is similar. Let's pour them and see what we get out of the taste. And maybe for those of you that are more experienced with Japanese tea, you can try making your guesses about what type of cultivar we are here in our pictures. You already see a difference in color, and this difference in color is not because of the different steaming. The two teas were processed in exactly the same way. This farmer is very methodic in the way he processes sencha. He even does an extra step at the beginning, a very long withering overnight to bring out a little bit more fragrance, more taste. But nonetheless, yeah, I would say there is a tiny bit of difference in color, but not too much. Now actually that I raise the cup and I look just straight between you and me, I have to say there is not really much difference. Yeah. So let's go to the taste. 1 and 2. These are very fresh. I just opened the vacuumized bag, and they are this year's tea. I just came back from Japan, sourced it there. It's really end of April, beginning of May 2026 harvest. To say that the last thing that you think when you drink this tea is umami. There's not much umami, so if you want an umami-rich tea, you probably should go elsewhere, and fertilizer may play a role there as well. What surprises me is that it is extremely fragrant. It's very aromatic. It's unusual for sencha to be so floral in a way. There is a little bit of florality, yeah. Maybe go in the direction of jasmine, not orchid, more jasmine, but very faint, right? It's not like being in front of a jasmine garden. Not at all, not at all. Also, the smell of warm milk. Yes, yeah, like, you know, even when you foam the milk, you make very, very hot. That's it, yeah. Let's check the other one now. This one here. This brings me in a rainforest. It's so different. I cannot describe it. It's like you really have to try to believe it. Although they look extremely similar. Like this is a tiny bit darker now that I see, but I mean, it's not so much difference, right? They are fairly similar, and nonetheless, they taste so different. This doesn't have at all florality, and it's not so much about aroma. The first thing that you notice is a very thick texture and full body. Is a strong tea. It's definitely a strong presence. It reminds me, it is vegetal in a way, but certainly no seaweed. Is more in the direction of evergreen trees. Yeah, you really feel yourself in a forest, maybe even with some moss on the undergrowth. I have to say, I like this. It's a new tea. I tasted this tea also when I was there sourcing it, but there are so many things you have to do at the same time. And yes, I did also videos while I was there, but those videos will be published later on in the year. So eventually you will see also the video in which I sourced these very teas. This one, short little reveal, is the tea that we already had last year. It's the second time that I am sourcing it. Last year when I was in Japan, I wasn't able to visit the farmer because it was on a business trip. So this year I took the occasion. And while I was there, I tried a bunch of different sencha that he has. And I like this one. I just didn't remember liking it so much. So it's, it's really a matter of taste, right? I like the fact that it's very strong and nonetheless not as bitter as I remembered, and maybe a little bit fruity. Yeah, certainly more fruity than floral. Wow. Yeah, I really like it. So the, should I say, should I not say, the Koshun, our Koshun superior, is way more round and balanced, right? Yes, it is aromatic, it is floral, but maybe even before that, what you notice is that it is a very smooth, it's like a smooth stone, you know, and you pass over your hand and it is as soft as the skin of a baby. That's the feeling you get in your mouth. And maybe the association I was making with milk was that one. Koshun is a cultivar developed in Japan. It was developed from indigenous cultivars from Japan. So it's an all 100% made in Japan cultivar with Japanese ancestors. And I would say is the first and maybe the only cultivar that was successfully aromatic, where you say, yes, what I'm tasting here is the taste of the cultivar and it is an aromatic one. On this side here, we have a different cultivar. It is Inzatsu, to be precise, Inzatsu 131. That's the name of the cultivar. It is a cultivar that was also developed quite some time ago in Japan, but not from indigenous plants, or not only. They use Assam plants from India. Now, Assam is a large leaf variety. We know it from Assam black tea. It's a bold taste. It's nothing compared to Darjeeling. And that imprint given by the parent, at least one of the two, of this cultivar from India, from the Assam variety, is what I think is really influencing its taste, what it makes the taste of this tea so strong, so present. Some people associate Inzatsu with muscatel notes. That's nothing to do with the second flush Darjeeling, not to be confused. That's, it's connected with India, but with the Assam, not with the Darjeeling. Yeah, but it has a little bit of that as well. I said it's fruity, and maybe muscatel grapes have that lively feeling in your mouth, very different than the balanced and smooth taste of Koshun. Pretty surprised. And I have to say, it's really nice to see that after more than 15 years traveling every year to the tea plantation areas, to source tea, to actually broaden my knowledge, because that's how everything started. Nannuoshan was open 4 years and 3 journeys after my first visit to Yunnan. The reason why I continue traveling there, because honestly I could source tea also from here, what I had to do during COVID, by the way, is that I like to expand my knowledge. And I like to expand my knowledge in 2 ways. Sometimes I want to broaden my knowledge. Let's say I want to visit a location of tea production I've never been. I want to discover a new tea category or subcategory or sub-subcategory that I don't know about. So I expand left and right my horizon. In some other cases, I like to deepen the knowledge. So I go back in a place where I know there is a specific tea that I know very well, just to understand it better, to see how other farmers produce it, understanding better the nuances of the production, of the cultivation, and so on. In this case, is definitely a broadening my knowledge, understanding what there is beyond a classic sencha, umami taste, seaweed taste, bitter taste, what there is beyond that. And I think that was very successful here. It's I'm very happy with these. It really enriches me. And if you also like this type of investigations and you like me sharing them with you, I certainly love it. Then yeah, consider subscribing the channel if you haven't done it yet, because more videos like these will come your way very soon. Forgot the filter, doesn't matter. For example, next week. I will have a last sip. I want to see how they develop in the second brew. I don't tend to do a lot of brews with sencha. Either I do less leaves and I do just 2 brews. Sometimes I do 3 or rarely 4. And here I have 3 grams of leaves. I'm brewed the tea is pretty strong. It's also maybe a little bit longer than what I would do otherwise if I can concentrate on the brewing and I don't have only to take care of you guys, but also if it is a brewing only for pleasure and not also for understanding differences, because when you brew the tea stronger, you get out more differences. It's very clear. Think about a super fast brewing, like 1 second. Then what you get out of that is almost just water, right? So you have to give time to the leaves to give flavor to the water so that you can appreciate those nuances. So that's why tea taster tends to stretch to make longer brewing. Also because this longer brew bring out some of the errors, let's say, made in the production or in the cultivation or in the picking of the leaves. This is not what we meant to do today. We're just here for enjoying, but appreciating the differences. So last year I thought that Koshun Superior was the best tea sourcing in Japan of the year in terms of green tea, because because that's why I put the label Superior, because it's really a great tea, extremely balanced. But now here we go in the opposite direction. This is an outsider, is a tea that doesn't want to stay within the frame and nonetheless surprises me a lot. That's a tea that, especially in summer, when I need that, you know, that feeling when you get a sip, it's a little bit brisk. It's like evoking in you sensation and you want more. Yeah, this is what I get from this one. So Inzatsu is definitely a tea that convinces me. I hope you will enjoy it as well. Besides that, if you like, give us a like. And if you didn't subscribe yet, consider doing so. And I will see you next week. Bye guys.